everyone, welcome back to part 2 of my Q&A. I really hope you enjoyed the last one. If you haven't seen it, I will link it here. I answered lots of personal questions, but now I am going to get onto all the worky YouTube related ones. And as I said in the last Q&A, I haven't avoided any of the sticky questions, so I'm going to try my best to answer them if I can. And I'm going to start straight away. I'm not going to babble this time because it's going to be another long video. And this question is from Lisa. She asked, are you working for yourself and do you find it difficult to constantly keep a work-life balance? Do you ever feel guilty if you do very little during a weekday? I feel more guilty if I work on the weekend because that's really annoying for Rich, but I do try and balance it. There are some times during the week where I'll go and see one of my nieces or nephews because I know that I work a lot on the weekends as well. My videos go up on Sunday and I like to reply to comments and I like to share it on social media, and so Sunday always feels like a bit of a work day. It's very hard to get that work-life balance when you have a job like mine because everything comes into play, like social media, sharing what I'm doing is all part of it. I do find it really hard to switch off and it does make me feel like I'm sometimes busier than I actually am. I think some people are very good at it. Anna's quite good at kind of in the evening she won't have her phone near her and she really switches off. It's something I need to learn, but I do also feel like this is probably the only time in my life where I'm gonna be like this. So I might as well just kind of go in hard. But I've learned over the past few years, you know, now I don't work weekends. Like back in the day, I worked all weekends as well as during the week. So I try and have a balance. But yeah, it's difficult, especially when you live in a small place. Like my whole flat just feels like my office to me. Amy asked, what might a time breakdown on an average work day look for you? I feel like I have two types of work days. A work day at home and a work day out in town, because there's no point me going to and back from town. So if I've got a meeting, I'll try and plan everything around that day. So a home day like today, I'd wake up at, my alarm goes off at 7:45. I probably get out of bed at 8. I do my skincare, whatever, get ready. Actually, I don't get ready. Shower, skincare, straight to my desk. Don't really have breakfast. By like 8:30, I'll do emails and maybe use my bullet journal to plan out my day. And then I'll do my hair and makeup. That's probably only if I'm filming. If I'm not filming, I don't do my hair and makeup, but it does make me feel better. So if I have the time, I will do it because I'll feel more like myself. Always in tracksuit bottoms like I am now. Then I might set up for filming. It takes about half an hour to set up. It takes about an hour and a half maybe to film like a simple video. And then I have to pack down and kind of make my lounge look like a lounge again. Then I might have a lunch break. I tend to make my food, but then I'll eat it at my desk, catch up on emails again, and then I'll maybe start editing that video and sorting out the thumbnail. That probably takes all afternoon. Emails in between as well, lots of planning of other projects going on. And Rich gets back about 7. I'm normally still at my desk, and that's kind of how it goes. Sometimes I work in the evenings on the sofa. An out day would be like a meeting, breakfast meeting at 9:30 till 10:30. I normally just have meetings throughout the day and I'll go back to Gleam, my agent, in between to sort out my PO box and have meetings with them about other things that are going on. And I'll normally stay in town from like 9 until 7. But every day is different. Dawn asked, what does Rich do for a job? Rich works in market research. You guys might think of market research as like surveys or focus groups, but his team specifically works on new creative ways to do research. So they'll use like 360 cameras in someone's lounge to capture what they're watching on TV, or they'll use virtual reality, so someone can walk around a supermarket like wearing those goggles and you can see their reactions and their heart rate. So he comes up with really new, modern, creative ways to do market research, and he has like it's like a full-time normal office Monday to Friday job. Garima asked, as a content creator, what are your thoughts on some bigger YouTubers who now have PAs who edit their videos for them? Maybe there's a valid reason, but I kind of seeing it as paying someone else to do your work. I think it's important to remember that with any business, as you grow, you need more help. That's something I need to learn because there's only so much you can do when you're on your own. I currently don't have anyone helping me, but I'm totally thinking about getting someone to help me. But everyone's different in terms of what they want help with. Some YouTubers hate editing, so they'll get someone to help them edit, whereas I love editing, and for me that feels like the part that makes me a YouTuber. That feels like the creative part. So if I'm working with a brand, I feel like they're working with me because of this like video that I've created, I've planned it, I've edited it. But obviously I can't always film it because I have to be in it. There's just so much that you can do alone, and I understand that some people would need people to help them edit and film and all different things. I do wish it was more transparent when someone else has edited the video, only because I feel like if someone has spent 7 hours editing a video themselves, figuring out how to use Final Cut Pro when they don't really know and like learning all these things, it's nice to get the credit for that. Just, it's hard to kind of, if no one's saying who's editing their videos, I don't know. I don't mean that to sound like it's a competition because it really isn't. I just always think that you should be as transparent as you can with your audience, and that's what I always try to do. If someone helps me film, I'll write in the description box that someone's helped me film. If someone's helped me edit, I will, although I've never had that before just because I love editing. So I think it's cool that bloggers are building teams of people around them, but as I said, I just wish it was more transparent. Clara asked, do you feel the pressure to limit your voice so not to offend anyone? And I mean this in a way of rarely talking about politics and humanitarian issues, etc. And there were lots of questions similar to this. About like, I know you have opinions on things like Brexit and Trump, why don't you ever talk about it? You never discuss politics. There are so many questions about this. And I was trying to think of how to explain why, because yes, of course I'm opinionated. Firstly, that's not what this channel was supposed to be about, and everyone is entitled to choose what they discuss on their own YouTube channel. No matter what is going on in the world, no one should feel pressured to talk about things because, you know, they might just want to talk about beauty, they might just want to talk about fashion, and that's okay. You don't have to feel like you have to give your full personality to the internet. You know, it's not prison. That's one part of it. Another part is sometimes there's just a time and a place for talking about things. When I'm with my friends, we'll sit at dinner and we'll discuss all kinds of things. For example, I might say to my friend, I might be talking about Brexit or something political, but then say I said something wrong, my friend would say to me, no, that's wrong, this guy's part of it. And I'd go, oh yeah, okay, sorry. And that would be that. If you say something that's slightly wrong or you make a mistake in video on the internet, it's like you're held down. You're held to that for so long, and gossip websites will talk about you and there'll be hundreds of comments of people having a go at you. And when you're this side of the comments and they're just coming at you non-stop, there's no room for conversation, there's no room for mistakes. So there's some things I don't feel comfortable talking about because I don't 100% know I'm saying the politically correct thing. And it's just not the place to have a discussion. I prefer to have a discussion with my friends over dinner, with people who I trust, with people whose opinions I respect. And 90% of you guys, I would probably love to have those sort of chats with in real life, and I would respect your opinion. But there's always that 10% of people who I would never choose to hang out with in real life, and they're the ones who shout louder. So that is my reason, and I hope that made sense. Sergia asked, how do you tackle hate comments, discouraging comments? I feel like I would say it wouldn't affect me, but I feel like it would, especially as my anxiety has gotten worse as I've got older. So back in the day, I used to always say that the hate comments didn't affect me, and I didn't get them that bad, but things change, and I've always been honest about the fact that comments about how I look, literally I don't care, because it's just a stranger telling me they don't like the way I look, and that doesn't bother me. But the more I do YouTube, they are affecting me more and more, if I'm honest, just because it's a little bit overwhelming. Even if it's not hate, even if someone's pointing out a mistake you've made, that person commenting feels like they're the only one. But the reality is there's probably 300 other comments that are the same. And it's hard to not feel overwhelmed by it when you've got hundreds of comments coming your way about something you've done wrong or something you've said wrong. And it's probably the most exhausting part of what I do. And it's probably the hardest part and the bit that would make me not want to do it anymore. So at the moment I'm trying to figure out a way to make it so that I can continue doing YouTube but enjoy it. Because honestly, the comments do make it not enjoyable. I'm sure in this Q&A or the last Q&A, there's gonna be some kind of like anger in the comments. And it's a very lonely place for the YouTuber because you feel personally attacked and you feel very alone in your own little comment section. And I know I'm not alone. I know a lot of other YouTubers feel the same, but it always feels personal. And Rich won't even understand how it feels. Even if I tell him about something, it's personal to me, so that's really hard to deal with. Michael asked, I'm definitely in that category of people who don't usually comment, so my question is, how do you feel about clickbait? More specifically, where do you think the line is drawn? So for those of you that don't know, clickbait is a way of titling your videos that kind of tricks the audience into watching it. And I think there's definitely a line. Here would be my example. Say I do a vlog, and in that vlog, I have a quick conversation with you guys about my ex-boyfriends and breakups and like how I broke up with my ex-boyfriend. If I were using clickbait, I would title that video, "We broke up!" exclamation mark, and the thumbnail would be me crying. So you guys would think, oh my God, have Lily and Rich broken up? You'd think all these things like, I want to watch that because I want to know if they've broken up. Whereas if I used a thumbnail of me like sitting and talking to you guys and the title was talking about ex-boyfriends, then yeah, okay, maybe that's still trying to get you to watch the video, but it's not misleading you. Because in the video, I am talking about ex-boyfriends. There's a line between misleading your audience and not. And I know some YouTubers who I actually really respect have talked about this and said that, why wouldn't I use clickbait? Because this is my business and I want to get as many views as possible, but I want to be as honest as possible. And it's a funny game, YouTube. It's all about like titling your videos cleverly. You know, my leather skirt video, I realised soon after putting that up, it's one of my favourite videos, and it didn't do as well as my others because I put how to style a leather skirt, and lots of people told me, oh, but I don't wear skirts, so I didn't watch it. So if I titled that video, my current favourite outfits, it would have got more views. But do you want to be honest, or do you want to trick your audience into watching your videos? I always think, what would my friends think? Anna asked, hey Lily, do you think there are a lot of YouTubers who do ad videos without even liking the products? So many controversial questions in this Q&A. Can you, as a YouTube yourself, tell if someone's lying about liking or using them? And what do you think about ad videos in general? I try not to concern myself about what other people are doing too much. Back in the day, when it was a really small community, we all kind of worked together to create an industry that we wanted to create. But now there's so many people doing it, you just can't concern yourself with what other people are doing because it would drive you insane. And I have had that before where I get really upset about what other people are doing and if they're being dishonest, but you just can't live like that. So all I can do is do what I want to do. People are very nervous about ad videos, as in viewers, because they don't really understand the process because it's kind of tricky to talk about. In short, I'll kind of explain to you guys how the process of an ad video works. A brand will either approach me directly or come through my agent, and they'll say, we really want to work with Lily. And before any money or anything is discussed, I'll say, let me try the product. Say, let's, for example, say it's a beauty product. Let me try the mascara. I want to see if I like it or not. And the first thing I do is decide if I like it or not, because for me, there's no point promoting a product I don't like. It's dishonest, it's detrimental to my videos, and you know, there's just no point. So the first thing I do is try it. If I like the product, I'll say, yep, I like this product. What sort of thing are you thinking of doing? It's important for you guys to remember that this is business. It's marketing business for the brands. So this is the same sort of budget. This is the same thing if they were advertising in a magazine or on a TV. You know, they're choosing to spend their budget on YouTubers. So it's important, and it can't just be silly work. The process has to be done properly. Saying that though, it's a very different way of advertising, and I think we're so lucky, like me and you guys as consumers are so lucky that this new way of advertising has come in, because back in the day you'd watch a TV ad or read an ad in a newspaper, in a magazine, and a celebrity would be endorsing a product and you have no idea if they like it or not. Whereas I feel like with us, you can trust us to really talk to you guys on a level. I think there's so much more room for being creative, and I think it's actually a really positive thing. But anyway, I'll say I like the product and I'll say, how do you want to work together? The brand, obviously, because they're putting budget towards this, will have a few key messages that they want to get across, because normally it works into a much wider campaign that they're doing in magazines and TV. And they'll say, our campaign is all about being happy in spring and embracing a new you. And they're normally kind of very marketing key messages. And we don't just go, okay, there's a lot of back and forth where we say, I don't feel comfortable talking about feeling happy in spring because my audience know that I'm not a very positive person. How about, and then we'll go back and forth and I'll go, how about we talk about how this product makes me feel instead? This is such a stupid example, but there's a lot of back and forth, so that my responsibility is to make sure that I am integrating this product in a way that I know you guys will like. That's my responsibility. And the brand are trying to integrate the product in a way that will fit with their campaign. So there's a lot of back and forth, and then we'll get to a place where I'll say, yeah, I feel comfortable with this. Is it going to be in a vlog? Are we going to do a new video? Is it going to be on Instagram or Twitter? Am I going to do a video for your channel? There's lots of different ways that we work together, and it's a long process. And guys, I can't stress enough how my top priority is always how I think you guys are going to react and how I think you would like to kind of consume the message. So I hope that you trust me in that. But I personally love doing ad videos, not only because it's the way I make a living, but it's a chance for me to be more creative. When I'm getting funded to create this piece of content, I know I can spend a whole day on it. I can hire someone to help me film it. I can put so much effort in, and it's a really, I love working to a brief and trying to create something that I think will be great and that the brand will be happy and you'll be happy and I'll be happy. And sometimes it doesn't work. There's been lots of mistakes along the way, but when it works, for me, coming from a marketing background, I love it. So yeah, I hope everyone's honest, but I can't control what everyone does. Kirsty asked, I was wondering how you stay true to your own style and creativity in your job when there are so many other people doing what you do, especially when it's a creative thing, which I feel can be harder to compare yourselves to others. How do you deal with self-doubt? Yeah, it's really hard to keep creative, and the thing I find most frustrating is when people think I've copied someone else. It's a fine line between being inspired by someone, which I think is what it's all about really, and copying them flat out. Also, sometimes you'll work for weeks on a video and then someone else will put up the same video before you do, and you're like, well, I'm not going to scrap it, I'm going to do it anyway. The world is full of copycats. The world is also full of people who call people copycats. I think you just have to do what you do. I try so hard not to compare myself to others. It's hard to do, but I think it is important. Marina asked, tell us about the statistics of your channel. What age is your youngest, oldest viewer, and what is the less expected country you have viewers from? Okay, I'm gonna put my stats on the screen now, and also I'm gonna look at them on my phone. They might be a bit different when I actually put them up. I'm more than happy to share my stats with you guys. Okay, so 95.9% of my audience are female and 4.1% are male. My biggest age audience is 25 to 34, so that makes up 42.7% of my audience, and then the next one down is 18 to 24, the next one down is 35 to 44, and then pretty much joint is 45 to 54 and 13 to 17. So I think a lot of people assume that all YouTubers have a teenage audience. That's my fifth, maybe even sixth audience. So it's mainly 18 to 35 really, but I know that lots of you guys are outside of these age groups. This is just how YouTube tell me. Top countries are UK, US, Germany, Australia, and then Canada. And yeah, I think that's, maybe I could see, okay, I'm gonna scroll down. The one right at the bottom, 0.2% Bulgaria. Beyond Infinity asked, in my 20s and feeling so lost at the moment, do you have any advice for a student who's about to start applying for jobs? How to motivate yourself in life when you seem to be stuck in the same place? Now is your time. It's the only time in your life really where you can truly experiment and try everything. So I would say, just try for all different kinds of jobs, even if they're crazy. Try out lots of things. Do internships so that you're not committed. Don't get a full-time job. Get a few 2-month internships and just try out as many things as possible and figure out what you love. Now is the time to do it. Rowena said, I've literally never asked a Q&A question, but mine is, what do you think of the increasingly overt consumerism, particularly around designer bags, etc.? That is more and more the norm on YouTube. I know that a lot of bloggers are getting a fair bit of criticism around this, and it does feel very unrelatable for the majority of people, and I also worry about how it affects, and then the sentence cut off, but I bet she's gonna say like younger audience. How do I feel about it? I don't know if it's my place to say how I personally feel about it. Let me think about this one. I think everyone's entitled to do what they want to do. I personally feel like it's really important to set up your life. So get property, save for the future, all of those things are very important to me. After you've done that, buying yourself a designer bag every now and again, why not? That's kind of how I live my life. I buy all my clothes from Topshop and ASOS. I buy an odd designer bag every now and again, but really my priority is getting a house and saving for my kids. Everyone can do what they want to do though. I get what you're saying. I don't think people who share their luxury lifestyles should be getting hate for it. As a viewer, I don't love it, but then the way I would react is by unsubscribing or not watching. And I think that's the problem with the internet. If you don't like it, that's okay. Bitch to your friends about it offline. But I don't get people who leave hate comments. Just unsubscribe and move on. There are lots of people whose YouTube channels I don't like and don't agree with, but I just unsubscribe, or I just don't watch them, or I just watch them and then growl at myself, but I don't comment. I think that might have answered your question. These are some questions about the future. Finch asked, do you ever see yourself moving out of London? No, I love it. I know there will be times where it's really hard, it's very expensive, but the opportunity I had to intern at all these amazing places because I could live with my parents for free in London, I want to do that for my children. So I really want to work hard to stay in London so that they don't feel like they have to move to London and pay rent when they're like in their 20s. I want to kind of have a house set up in London so they can stay with me until they need to. Yasmin asked, what travel destinations are still on your bucket list? Canada, Japan, New Zealand. Kelly asked, my question is, do you think there will ever be a time in the future where you will naturally not upload videos anymore as you become older, a mum, different priorities, etc., and your job will change as such? Thank you. Love you, LP. Thanks. Yes, I used to say that I think my channel would evolve and change with me as I become a mum. But actually now I'm getting older and I'm starting to think, do I want to do that? Do I want to film my kids and put them on the internet? I feel a little bit funny about that. Actually, that's a topic I'm really interested in, and I don't have an opinion on it. I'm just fascinated to know what people think of it, like filming your kids and putting them on the internet. I don't know how you keep them safe at the same time. If you're kind of filming your front of your house and you're filming your child, what if someone recognizes them? I get very paranoid about like privacy. So I don't think I'll be the sort of mum that will want to share everything about my child. I don't judge people who do, I'm just saying that I don't think that's what I want to do. So I'm always thinking about how my job can evolve as I get older. It's something I'm thinking about all the time at the moment. And I don't really know, to be honest, what the answer is, but I don't think I'll be doing YouTube forever. I might be doing it in some capacity, but whether it's this kind of full on and full time, I'm not sure. Okay, so here are some more like silly questions. Rebecca asked, I have a question. Any hen party planning tips? I'm feeling the pressure with my big sister's hen next month. A hen is a bachelorette party if you're not from the UK. I would say, like, if you're from somewhere that can be great, so if you're from London or another city, don't waste your money on accommodation. I think a hen party spread over a weekend where people stay in their own houses can be great as well. Like a Friday night dinner and then a fun activity on the Saturday and a night out on Saturday night, maybe like a little tea on a Sunday. You could spread it out, and if you're not paying for accommodation, there's so much more you can do with your budget for activities. Don't make it too expensive. I think it's always mean on people who have lots of hens to go out throughout the year. But look on Time Out and see what cool activities there are going on. Lots of like bonding games for people to get to know each other. What other hen party tips do I have? Make sure you plan the hen, for the person that's getting married. Think about what they'd actually want. Don't worry about all the guests. This is for your friend. Chloe asked, who's your favourite Grey's Anatomy character, dead or alive? Definitely George O'Malley. That episode where they realised it was him in the hospital was epic. Christine said, if you could have dinner with any 3 people who have passed, who would you pick? My 3 grandparents, my grandma and both my grandpas, but it would be very complicated to try and explain to them what I do. Victoria asked, and this is the final question, I think. Yeah. Lily, I don't have a question for the Q&A. Oh yeah, this isn't a question. I just really wanted to add this in because it was so nice. Lily, I don't have a question for the Q&A, but I never comment, and I just want to say that it is so refreshing to scroll through these comments, and it's so nice to see that you, as such a genuine, frank person, have such great people watching your videos. Oh, I loved that comment, and she's so right. The questions were so brilliant. So thank you guys so much for asking me a question, and I really hope you enjoyed my like 2 little Q&A questions, 2 little Q&A videos, I mean. If you guys haven't seen the last Q&A video, I will link it here along with my recent video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.